Explosion imminent.
Okay, so I wanted to give a little explanation for people who don't know X4 foundations. So this is the sector map and you can see these green circles all over the place. These are my satellites. I have deployed them with a very fast ship so I don't get shot and killed. That way I can see the Xenon movement, their troops, fleet movement. The Xenon are a machine life form, basically. They were created by humanity for terraforming and they are hostile towards everyone, including aliens in this universe. So here's an overview of the Xenon-controlled sectors, and I'm highlighting the last surviving split sector here because the split got completely overrun, and I'm going to show you how the map looked like before that happened. And you can see the split have controlled almost every sector in this region. So here you can see I got 16 Behemoth destroyer class ships and I'm sending them all back to Hadikva's choice because I cannot go to Savage Spur from here because that's a one-way road basically. And I can show you how it sometimes looks like in Hadikva's choice because that's right below Xenon controlled territory. So here you can see the Xenon got 4 class K destroyers here and they are much bigger than the Behemoth. So also they are building a defense platform here. And you can see my little trader here that I'm going to send to the next station. So hopefully it doesn't get destroyed. So that's what it looks like most of the time at the borders of the Xenon territory. So I'm gonna highlight the jump gate that leads to Tharka's Cascade. And you can see a couple of Xenon ships coming out of there right now. So we are here right now. And my only choice is to enter their sectors from this side in order to destroy their shipyards in these 2 locations. So here I am in Tharka's Cascade, right above Hadikva's choice, attacking my first Xenon station. And in order to do that, I have to destroy their defensive turrets. Because if I order my ships to attack the station, they would just go very close and get destroyed by the turrets. But my main guns got the longer reach, so I can just safely take them out from a distance. So after that I can bring in the rest of my ships and destroy the station very easy. Also there's another method to destroy stations by just changing the turrets of my ships to very powerful but very slow plasma cannons. In this case I would just fly close to the station until my turrets automatically start firing while still being out of reach of the station's turrets. But in order to defend myself from all these smaller Xenon ships and especially drone swarms, I need a lot of laser turrets. So I would sacrifice these turret slots for plasma cannons. Okay, now I am in the next subsector of Tharka's Cascade. And you can see as soon as I start attacking the station, a lot of Xenon ships coming to defend, including 5 or 6 destroyers. So I'm pulling my ships away from the station in a defensive position and I'm getting information waiting for them while my laser beams destroy all these smaller ships. A couple of minutes later I am about to destroy the first Xenon K here and I'm selecting the ship from my fleet with the least amount of shields so I can pull it out of the fight so it can recharge. I'm constantly giving orders to individual ships if needed and I'm trying to stay in formation as much as possible. So I have teleported out of the sector into another ship of mine before this fight, and you should always do that when fighting enemy ships, because the game will only simulate a sector to the full extent when you are inside of it. And that's called out of sector fighting, which will make your ships more effective against larger enemies. Also, I can pause the game whenever I want, and I can speed up time with my Singularity Engine Time Accelerator. So I'm close to destroying the second Xenon K here. And I'm highlighting another ship. You can see that it's much bigger than the others because that is a Xenon I, and it's probably the biggest ship in game. But for some reason it was very easy to destroy here, to the point that I didn't even realize there was an eye around, because at this point in time I didn't even know it existed. So you can see one of my ships is close to getting destroyed, but I got a couple of repair drones on every of my ships. So that way I don't have to go back to the shipyard every time one of my ships gets damaged. So later I teleported back onto one of my ships to hopefully see that last ship exploding. And I'm gonna show that now, but it wasn't my best recording.
Awaiting orders.
So after that I was destroying another station and actually got some help from the Terrans and Argons here. So you can see this big ship, these orange ships are Terran, and the blue ships at the front are the Argon, like myself. But to be honest, they are not much more than a distraction for the Xenon. So here you can see I pretty much cleared out the first two sectors of the Xenon, but the next sector is one of their core sectors, and as you can see there are a lot of enemies there. So I decided it's probably better to have more ships, and also these repair drones cannot repair a ship to 100%. So I wanted to go back to the shipyard, buy 4 more ships and get full repairs. But I wasn't prepared for how fast these Terrans and Argons would get destroyed here. So when I came back from Argon Prime, the Xenon already had retaken the second subsector of Tharka's Cascade and are now coming into the first sector right above Hatikva's Choice. But at least now I have a lot of allied troops supporting me. So I entered the second sector, but someone was already waiting for me. And this time it was a real Xenon I. So even after reloading my save game several times, I still wasn't able to do any significant amount of damage to this ship. And I want to show you a little clip here so you can actually see how massive this thing really is. So in the background you can see there are 2 Ks and a couple of my destroyed behemoths. But then I had one last idea. So when I bought these ships, I would put a couple of laser towers into their storage container. And you can deploy these laser towers wherever you want in space. So I would deploy roughly 100 of them to create some sort of distraction. And you can see here that my smaller ships fly right through this field of MK2 laser towers. So at that point I just wanted to see what happens. And you can see I am trying to guide that big ship right into this field. On the other side of it, I just turn around and attack the Xenon I while being out of reach of it. So this massive ship tries to find a way through it, and I can easily take down its shields. Unfortunately, I didn't record it, but I have a little placeholder clip I want to show you where I destroy a K with the eye in the background.
Explosion imminent.
Awaiting orders.
Okay, so to make a long story short, I managed to get into Savage Spur, which is the sector I was trying to enter at the beginning of the video, because there were only a couple of Ks and another one of these very weak Xenon I left. And I'm starting to think there were supposed to be some sort of sector guard, because they would follow me very slowly even into the next sector. So here I am attacking my first shipyard, and you can see these massive drone swarms next to the station. That's why I'm ordering my ships to come close to me, because these drones would destroy all of my components, including shield generators, turrets and even my engines, so I couldn't even move anymore. So I'm destroying all of the turrets on top of the shipyard, but not on the bottom to save some time. After that, I'm ordering my ships to attack the shipyard directly, while making sure none of them are getting destroyed by the remaining turrets. But all of that takes quite some time, and you can see there are still a lot of drones left. So that's why it's so important I'm using laser turrets, because every other weapon would just miss these small and agile ships most of the time. So they are trying to build another Xenon I here. This would probably be one of the real ones, but it's going to be too late.
Explosion imminent.
So all in all, it's relatively simple to fight the Xenon. It just takes a lot of work. And after that, I would go straight to Matrix 79 and destroy the other shipyard there in order to prevent them from building another Xenon I. So the next step is to destroy their wharfs, because that's where they are producing their mining ships. These are called Xenon S, and they are also used to build new stations, because the Xenon are constantly trying to reconstruct like insects. Also, there is a Yaki pirate base in Savage Spur that I destroyed, but later I found out that it's actually part of a quest line in this game, so you might want to do that quest line beforehand. And also this Xenon station in Taka's Cascade, which belongs to the same storyline. But at this point I decided I want my headquarters in Matrix 79, so I wanted to make sure there's absolutely no threat in this region. Okay, here I am back at Destroy Choice. You can see the Xenon factory. That's what it looks like when they are trying to rebuild. You can see a couple of Xenon S here flying around. There are a couple of Argons and or Terrans. The Xenon got actually one last defense platform here and even a small fleet. But I'm going to destroy them soon. And they're having a hard time rebuilding here because now the core sectors are completely wiped out and the Argon especially patrolling the area here. And I have built my first little defense platform in Matrix 79, but I don't really care about the other sectors here. They can do whatever they want, because the other factions are probably going to build something somewhere. So yeah, I'm happy now. I got what I wanted. I know now I can beat the Xenon, and I'm still trying to save the split. So we will see about that in part 2.